I would like to introduce the next speaker, and I would like to draw some parallels here. Let's go back a few years ago, and let's imagine, not few years, like let's go back 2 centuries ago. And let's think of something that changed people's life entirely. Something like the appearance of a train, or the train as an invention. And it changed the way of life, and it helped it fostered the Industrial Revolution. It helped unite different countries and allowed people to travel faster and exchange goods 1,000 times faster. And why am I drawing this parallel to a train? When the train first came up 200 years ago, it had a driver who sat in the engine and drove the train. And people could go to that driver and ask them different questions. And, maybe express their wishes, where they want to stop or where they want to go. And nevertheless, there was like a management. And whether the train goes or stops and where it goes was decided by the management, by the railway company. And similarly, it is here. The new economic evolution of the world has its own driver. Let's say the head of the train, the senior officer, and I'm sure he has things to say to you and news to share with you. Now I'd like to give the floor to our train driver, Andrey Khovratov. Okay, hello, dear friends. This is my sound and video check. Give me a score from 1 to 10. Okay, I can see that we have a good connection. And let me ask you how many newcomers we have, and if you still have energy, and if you manage to sit through 3 hours of our webinar, give me a plus. And okay, let's go back to the question, who are new here? Give me a 5 if you're a newcomer, a novice in our webinar. And we've worked quite significantly, and I'm sure that you will sit until the very end of our webinar, because usually when you invite a person to a webinar, like come to our webinar, there will be a lot of great news, etc., etc. And usually a person comes to the webinar and their expectations are not met. Therefore, usually before inviting people to our webinars, we warm people up, by inviting to previous webinars, to like small scale webinars. And I don't think I have to introduce myself. There is lots of information online. And what I can say about myself is that I'm a progressive person, and I help other people become progressive as well, who start working and thinking progressively and start creating progress around themselves. And if you want to become one of such people, come to our community, become a member of it, and move forward with us. Why is it important? I'll explain you why on the next slide. So who are we? New. First of all, we are a healthy, prosperous community. People who come to our community, their aim is to prosper and be united, not be apart. And also, we are owners of the companies whose product or products we use. So we are both owners and the consumers of our own companies, of the products and services of our own companies. So you saw that our portfolio grew by adding several instruments to it. And the next week on our closed webinar, I'll show you how we achieve that growth. Also, our goal is to ensure that people receive monthly unconditional basic income, which we call Profi bonus. And also our goal is to create a community of 1 to 3 billion users, or 15-25% of the global population. Let's say in 10 years we'll have, for example, 10 billion people. Then we'll need to have 1.5 billion. It will be 10%, and around 2 billion, which will be 15%. And most importantly, we would like to have world peace and to establish world peace. And before I deliver my keynote speech, I would like to first introduce to you a person with whom I met 4 years ago. He flew into Moscow specifically to meet with us. His name is Anatoly Skargin.
World's Generals for Peace. And we are moving on. There are another few slides left. I will do my best to finalize. So NEEW is the people's project of the 21st century in the third millennium. So let's look at the history. In 2007, I watched the first movie. If you are interested, it is in my YouTube channel called Andrey Khovratov, The Course of Time. Then in 2009, The Spirit of Time, number 2, and then number 3. And then actually in 2009, when I watched The Spirit of Time, number 2, in almost 6 months, 1 billion watchers of this movie. And The Spirit of Time, number 3, is over 1 billion. And Jacques Fresco toured around with the program around the globe, and then I realized and understood that this concerns everyone. I personally became a follower, and I encouraged my friends to support the project because this is what common people need. And NEEW as a concept actually emerged after I watched the movie The Spirit of Time in 2007. Back then, I was in India, New Delhi, Mumbai, Goa, and there I watched this movie and decided I need to do something. And as regards the real promotion of the NEEW program, I started on the 15th of September 2011. I launched the Academy of Private Investor, and in actually 3 years, we managed to have over 100,000 students, and the sales at that time in 3 years was 1.5 million US dollars. And the personal portfolio which I built was over 1 million USD, mainly stock and foreign currency markets, and with a short portion of real estate. Starting from the 1st of October 2014, we, as the API clients, provided support to innovative technologies, and the number of users became over 495 users, and from 75 countries, over 300 leaders, and the sales is of over 130 million. API portfolio was over 12 million units, and the where we participated: stock, foreign currency, cryptocurrency markets, real estate, equity participation, venture markets. And when on the 30th of March, we launched the CryptoUnit program on blockchain technologies, crypto economy, crowdfunding, and crowd investing, sales market expansion. So the number of users became 1.4 million in 175 countries. Courses and trainings have been translated into 10 languages. As Anatoly said, today this webinar is translated into 9 languages. The sales is over 170 million. the portfolio invested in the portfolio was over 60 million. So why the figures are different, because I prepared these slides on Monday, whereas Valentin made his slides a bit later, and he has the updated figures. So the investment actually, so the value of our portfolio is over 400 million. And the main asset is our people. In 1 year, we have reached 71 presidents. We have 431 top managers, whether before we had 10 top managers. And to the network, we paid out 107,100,000 units. And profit bonus is almost 1 million, and altogether in total we paid out over 125 million units over 1 year. Dear friends, a lot of corporations do not pay out so much. Why I'm saying this? Look what has happened over the last 5 years. So next year the Academy will celebrate its 10th anniversary, and we are preparing the entrance to a new market, the stock market of the Academy of Private Investor. We have all the chances to do it with the high capitalization of the Academy, and in the portfolio their education is the first segment for investment. And in 6 years, from 2014 to 2020, we increased in the number of users. We increased in 6 years by 1,958%. This is a skyrocket indicator in the number of users. So Facebook and Contact, because of being very new, they grow very fast. But to grow to such an extent in 6 years, only few companies can do it. So per year, it makes up 326% and 27% per month in the number of users. In sales, actually, sales gain in 6 years is 19,000%. On average per year, 3,316%, and the average monthly increase is 276. And as regards the portfolio growth rate, so here I mean that starting from the 1st of October 2014 to the 30th of March 2020, our portfolio was full of profits. I could actually distribute among the leaders and actually live calmly, but we reinvested these profits into the assets, and all SWIG clients, they will get a part of CryptoUnits before we enter the stock exchange with our security token. Dear friends, a broker makes some commission and puts it in his pocket, but this is our common portfolio and we share this with the people. When we launched the CryptoUnit program, we didn't start this business as beggars, because Maria already told you about the competitors who copied us. But look, they are financially illiterate, because I saw the way they manage their money, and these people may not have any growth unless they get some additional education. But unfortunately, when they get much more money than they value, quite often they become, or they fall very low. They may lose their heads. And I've seen it many times. But as regards our needs, our plans, I've been dreaming of ambitious plans, because when you have a house, when you have an apartment, a lot of cars, when you have some steamboats, some ships, but what can you do to give some value and contribution to the community? And the objective of NEW program, this is an important thing to understand, to realize your potential as a personality and to make your contribution to the development of the community, of the society. Because the planet develops. As regards the portfolio volume, the portfolio gain is over 22,000% in 6 years. On average, a year, it is 3,794%, whereas on average a month, it is over 300%, and daily, the growth is over 10%. And those people who blame us to be a scam, a pyramid, because of bad management, because people entrust money to some companies say they wanted to invest in us, but actually when we made the due diligence of these companies, why we have blockchain now, everything will be seen on blockchain. It will be transparent and fair. And when the foundation of 11 years experience provides me financial statements, so actually they manage one instrument, but they'd like to invest in something else. So I have some doubts whether they can manage it or not. And in case they will lose all the money, and traders will lose all the money, so because, and they are to feel responsible. In January, actually one trader managed by our former financial director Igor Romanenko actually made a mistake and lost almost 1.5 million USD. It almost didn't impact us because another instrument went up, and we have the diversification of risks, and this is what we train you in, and this is a good indicator of who we are. And please understand, whenever today we receive some propositions, we are to assess them, and in the academy we train you how to assess these proposals. Some guys say we would do it better than you can do it, and they try actually to fight with the eggs, trying to convince who is better. And then I tell them, look, we will come back to this talk 6 months after. These are our results starting from 2011. These are our results and performance starting from 2014. And you are co-owners of all this business. So I don't have 51% of the stake in the company. I have a small share only. All the rest is retained to the people. So for the company, we retain 10 billion tokens for the liquidity, for the speculators and traders not to trade aggressively in the market in it. And this is our performance, dear friends. Whenever someone says something to you, you are not starting as a beggar. You are actually in 5 years, starting from 2014 to the 30th of March 2019, we had the portfolio value of 12 million, and we invested in different segments, including innovative skyway technologies, and we generated profits in our portfolio, and we meet our promises given to people. They get the bonuses, they are co-owners, and the profits generated by us actually, which is on the 30th of March 2019, cost 12 million units. Who can actually boast of this? You will not find any other company in the world. Please pressure and value where you are and what we jointly create. Many people may not understand it fully, and there are even leaders in the Global Leadership Council who may not understand it fully because they invest into something else with the excuse that we train you to diversify. If today, for the sake of diversification, you invest in a company which is scam or a pyramid, It's not the risk diversification. So this is bullshit. Look, you waste your money instead of reinvesting it into more development. All the businesses I developed and ran in my business, there were successes and failures. But look, today I get my MBA. I'm training for MBA, and overnight I worked hard and was sleepless. And I took note of one phrase, one statement about the losses. I wrote it down. I can't find it now, sorry guys. But the idea of this phrase is you are to learn your lessons, not on successes, but on your failures. When everything is fine, you don't see the full picture. But as soon as you are smashed by your life, as soon as you are smashed by your problems, then you generate internal leadership traits. And guys, this is our performance. And in case today there is someone willing to diversify his risks, then do it in a way you don't lose your money. But look, there are a lot of programs which today are proposed in the CryptoUnit segment. Or then first of all, I assess the managers. They are lazy guys. They make some money, create some software, or they are in some brokerage market and they show their performance for the last 6 months. And these are those things in one instrument. It is 1995. Then I invested in different companies, believing that they are great, but look, they wasted my money. They actually rubbished my money. But when they wasted my money, we as investors lost the money, whereas the managers became even richer. It was unclear. I still don't understand this. And after the establishment of the Academy of Private Investor, it's important for a person to generate the appropriate investment mindset. And this is the reason I'm showing this performance. And quite recently, I told one guy, you don't realize your luck that you are with us and you have almost 500,000 CIU points that quite soon will turn into security tokens. And what will happen after, you cannot even imagine. You are a lucky being. This is the
first thing you need to understand, like my message to you. You need to understand the motivation behind our actions over the last 9, 5, and 1 year. Now let's move on to the next slide. We'll show you what we'd like to do, why we are one of the best and commercially viable communities in the world. I don't think any other company can show such an incredible growth in 6 or 9 years. And the Academy of a Private Investor is 9 years old this year. We have a team of professionals, leaders. They are Master Profi graduates. We have like Amway and Herbalife leaders, but in multi-level crowd investing. All our leaders and top leaders, and we have almost 20,000 of them are practitioners with more than 20 years of experience in MLM business and investment business. We are pioneers in multi-level crowd investing, showing high performance. So that's what I wanted to tell you, is that you have physical business and online business. And people can say that internet business is worth 3 years of physical business, conventional business, like down-to-earth business. For example, you have your physical outlet, you have some website to support that physical outlet. But if you are doing online business, 1 year is worth 3 or even 5 years of the physical business, conventional business. But if you are in the crypto market, then 1 month of a crypto market engagement is equal to 2-3 years in online business. That's why we moved on to the crypto market, because the pace is insane here. Every day, developers develop something new. That's why we have this incredible growth, because now we have an additional team of IT guys who are in our team, and they now added the crypto component to it. And I can guarantee you 1000% that now we are too far ahead for anyone to catch up with us, because people might say, Khovratov is a dinosaur. He's doing things that are obsolete. Guys, we have proof that they are wrong. And before the STO, we will have the company appraisal done by the companies, by the top 5 appraisal company. And the appraisal of our company, I think, will be quite expensive, and the outcome will be a very high figure. Let's take Basalt Technologies alone. They are now already preparing their first batch for delivery. And recently they sent me a video from China. It's a diamond production equipment. This equipment can grow, literally grow, a 2-carat diamond in 2-3 days. Today, our partners in the movie making industry, also their work is in full swing despite the lockdown. They still have shooting studios when they can shoot the necessary scenes from the movie. Also, we have Ural Gold, and we also signed a document for the transfer of shares. Now we are fully fledged stockholders. And when they receive 2.4 million more, we will be 50% stock owners. Literally 2 weeks ago, they called me from Ghana. They are again back on track. We are sending our representative over there. We will double check it all again, all the land inspection, etc. We had a standstill, but now we are, collecting this puzzle piece by piece. Now we had to shut down a restaurant in Belarus. There was some unpleasant situation over there, but other restaurants are now have broken even and now are starting yielding a profit. The newly opened restaurants, I mean. So gradually we resumed our growth after the lockdown, and you'll see it on the next slide too. Now we have very ambitious plans by the end of this year, 2020, to have more than 10 million users and over 1 million entrepreneurs with the sales volume of over 1 billion USDU. That's our stablecoin. And to generate profits from the portfolio value at 1-2% per month. This is our ambitious plans. When I talk to people like cool managers, and when I mention trillions to them, we had a partner like this. He didn't even, the biggest capitalization he ever witnessed was 10 billion. After we talked to him, his capitalization became, future capitalization became 100 billion. And then he said, let's make it times 100 and it will be 10 trillion. And I realized something wrong here. But again, you see, I affect people and I expand their outlook. They start thinking and dreaming big. People who know me, they tell me, Andrey, before I met you, I thought I was okay. I thought I was rich. I thought I made lots of money. But after I talked to you, after I met you, I realized how poor I was compared to the plans that you are, Andrey, building. And our plans for 2021, 2022 is to create a client base of 1 billion to 3 billion people. And we have a clear-cut plan how to do it. We'll do it with the data mining and the digital doubles. We are going to have over 10 billion entrepreneurs with the sales volume of 1 to 3 billion USDU per day, which makes 30 to 90 billion per month, and 330 billion to 1 trillion per year. We're also going to create a portfolio worth over 10 billion units, of which 25% will be liquid assets with the monthly average yield of 2% per month. And by 2024, 2030, I have this time span, by until 2030 to have the sales volume of over 10 trillion, with more than 8 trillion worth of assets in our portfolio, with the investment value of over 100 trillion USD. This is our ambitious plans. I mentioned them a long time ago, I think even 3 years ago for the first time, with the yield of 5 to 10% per month. Our client base is going to be 4 to 5 billion, and the volume of sales of consumer goods on average will be from 5 to 10 billion USDU per day, which makes 150, 300 billion USDU per month, and which makes 1.8, 3.6 trillion per year. And the estimated value of such business will be from 30 to 100 trillion USDU. Why I'm saying this particular figure? Alibaba company last year showed, I think, $450 billion sales, and the capitalization of the company was around 600 or 800 billion. And the second company, it wasn't Alibaba, it was Amazon. Their capitalization was more than 1 trillion, with the sales volume lower than Alibaba. You see, when you go and look at these things, so you need to understand why they have this capitalization growth. And the capitalization, the term capitalization, the way they use it in the conventional meaning, does not entirely correctly reflect the actual value of the company. They, in my opinion, and those who graduated and are students of the Academy of a Private Investor know that we have a different methods of assessing the capitalization, and we will assess the capitalization in our own way. We're creating our own ecosystem here. We have lots of products right now, both in terms of sales and investing. So when I talk to people like network marketers who say, I want to become a billionaire, etc., and I tell them, look, this is your 5-year plan to become a billionaire. And when they start, responding to me, I realize that this is too small a fish to fry. They are swimming too shallow. They cannot think big. They cannot dream big. And this is the prerequisite for becoming a billionaire. So if you are in this company, and if we dream big, you will be dreaming big as well. So if you want to build a company with dwarfish a mindset, your company will be a dwarf, financial dwarf. And if you want to build a company of giants, then you need giant thinking people. And if they still don't want to have more or much, after talking to our leaders, they will have much. So there are no other companies showing similar ambitions that we have. So dear friends, what we're doing now, what we would be doing tomorrow and the day after, and in the next 10 years, this is the goal behind it is to create the new economic evolution of the world. To make sure that we have the equal distribution of wealth across the world. And as General Skargin said, we don't want to be competitors to governments or big financial corporations. We want to be helpers. We would like to stimulate the economy, both sales and purchases. So now I would like to, can we bring on the next slide here? So here we have the statistics, why people come to us. So when we ran the statistics, and could you please go back to the previous slide? Yeah, in the Russian room, I mean. So people come to us, 35-40%, they come because of the new economic evolution of the world. Can you imagine? The second reason is the global investment portfolio. The third reason is education. And the fourth is the multi-level crowd investing business. 35-40% come to us because of new. This is our goal. World peace, wealth, prosperity, evolution, development. Those are the areas that we suggest people follow. We suggest they take their lives in their hands And if somewhere they have riots or wars, we need to do our best to put an end to it, or to make it so that we can avoid it. Unless we do it, there will be some dark forces that will join in, and then the only thing you will care about is survival. And that's what the dark forces want us to be, the state they want us to be, state of survival. And we need to do our best not to allow them to bring us down to this low level. So let's move on to the next slide. And as you can see, towards our common success, and you might have climbed mountains, and you climb the mountain and you see the peak, you see the apex, and then you climb that peak and you see that there is a higher mountain over there with a higher peak. Did you ever climb a mountain? Give me a plus in the chat, and if you ever experienced such a situation when you conquered a mountain and then you see that there was another higher than the one you conquered. So guys, always on the path towards personal and company success, there will be a higher peak, a higher mountain. But to get to that higher mountain, you need to first get down and then climb another mountain, go up again. And there will be travel, let's call them passengers, who might think that you reached the final destination, but they don't see the full picture. They don't know that you have another destination in mind. But if we climb a smaller mountain, at least we can see better a higher mountain, That's why we need to climb even small mountains before we go to higher mountains. There will always be ups and downs, but we need to keep our eyes on our vital goal and use milestones. And we won't even notice all those ups and downs. Success is not a one-time thing. It's not just a one-off action. It's movement, continuous movement. It's not like you came to be successful, or if you tell yourself, I'll work I work real hard right now, and then I will chill the rest of my life. No, that's not how it works. Once successful, you will always be successful if you reach that true success. And I want always to understand that there will be ups and downs. And when you go down, there will be people who will leave you, people who will abandon you. But on the way, you pick up experience, you pick up knowledge, and the next time you climb another mountain, all that knowledge, all that experience will push you towards that new height. It will serve you as a springboard. And for that, we need to assume ownership, responsibility for our own life, our own family, for the city you live in, for the region you live in, for the country you live in. Because we are the people living here, and we need to take ownership not only of your entire area, surrounding area, but of the entire planet. You might have heard that tomorrow is the last day of the corridor of eclipses. We call it Mercury in St. Petersburg. But it was really a difficult period. On the 5th of July, we had a full moon and we had a lunar eclipse, and then we had a new moon with a solar eclipse. And we now will have a parade of planets, lineup of planets. And usually during the astronomical events like this, wars and cataclysms happened. But I think the bright side won over the dark side, and it won't bring about cataclysms. I suggest today, before going to sleep, you meditate or you pray. And if we do it all together, if we pray for the world peace, I'm sure the forces of light will win. And they will help us in implementing all of our plans, because a company cannot consist of one person. cannot be a one-man army. You know, you cannot have built a solid organization consisting of one person. You cannot build a country consisting of one person. A company, an organization is an agglomeration, is a unity of people who are ready to take ownership or responsibility they are capable of delivering. But you need to take ownership, because the instruments that we're going to roll out in July, in September, in August, in September, all of them are intended for you to make even more money and for us to generate even higher profit bonuses, because there will be a lot of instruments which will help us receive quite a lot of profits, quite high profits, and we can use it to affect the world surrounding us. So guys, take the ownership, take the responsibility. And I would like to tell you a parable, a story. You might have heard it on numerous occasions. It's about a wise man and about a teacher and the students. And the students thought he was wiser than his teacher. Okay? So once upon a time, there was a wise man somewhere in the East. And once a year, people came to this wise man. And he had a student who thought he was wiser than his teacher. And that student prayed for the day when everyone would see that he is wiser than his teacher. And then a day has come when all the people came to that wise man, and he answered their questions. And then the student decided to ask this question to his teacher, this question. What he did, he caught a bird and he put it in his arms, and he said, "Oh, teacher, in my hand, I have a bird. Do you think it's dead or alive?" And he thought, if he says alive, I will crush it and it will be dead. But if he says it's dead, I will let it go and everyone will see that the bird is alive, and then I'm wiser than my master. But the master was so wise that he looked into the eyes of his students and he said, "It's up to you whether the bird will live or die." So, dear friends, the top management, the presidential council of the company, does its best for you to prosper and for the company to prosper and for all our partners to cheer every day. And we have picked up pace in many projects that we're implementing, but it's up to you. The future depends on you. It depends on your intentions, on your wishes, on your goals, not on our leaders, not on me, on you. Take the ownership, take the responsibility, be wise, be reasonable, stay strong, never fall prey to panic. Always be on high energy levels. Listen to meditation, meditate. Today is a very good day to make a 10-year plan. And rewatch this video. Take a look at our ambitious plans. Take a screenshot. See what we're going for. Imagine who you're going to talk to, who you're going to work with, who you're going to live with in the next 10 years. Okay, dear friends, this was Andrey Khovratov. All the best, and we'll meet on the 11th of July. We will make it sure that both our Australian and New Zealanders will have it convenient for them to have this closed meeting as well. What we're gonna do, we are going to hold a closed meeting at 10 a.m. Moscow time. It will be evening in New Zealand, and then we'll do it at 8 p.m. Moscow time, and it will be around 10 a.m. in Americas, in Colombia, or somewhere in the western coast of the United States, and then it will be quite convenient time in New York as well. And so all other webinars with the members of the Presidential and Leadership Council will be held twice, because, you know, the United States are now in the top 3, and we need to meet our partners from the United States halfway as well, where we need to stimulate their growth even more. Therefore, that's why we'll have 2 meetings on Saturday in future. Guys, I know you have questions, so what I would like you to do is to write your questions in the dedicated sections, and we will collect them together and we will address those questions. tomorrow is a very good day. We'll have a full moon and we'll have a lunar eclipse, and try to use that event to, delete everything negative in your part and think only about the positive in future. Bye bye.